G'day everyone, welcome along to Steel Horse Station. Steel Horse here, how are you? Hope you're all having a good week or good beginning to the week. I can see there's a couple of people around. G'day Peter. I'm not sure who else is lurking there in the background, but thanks very much for joining us. We are heading back to the Oaks today. So we might just jump straight in. I enjoyed it so much last week that I decided that it was a good opportunity to continue with a British map. So let's head on across. Let's see if we can find ourselves. So if you weren't with us last week, I'll sort of pick up. We did more of a tour and just experimented with the map, but we bought this property here. So our scenario, we're actually with the Putney family, and the Putneys live in this house. This house and the surrounding fields have been in the family for generations, and so Harold Putney lives here with Ma. They've got 5 kids, John, Paul, George, Ringo and Penny. George and Paul are twins. That's probably all the relevant facts. Ma's a ridiculously rabid Beatles fan, hence the kids' names. So the kids are out of high school, but kind of struggling to make their way in the surrounding area. If we have a look at the overall map, you can see these are the only fields that we've got left. Once upon a time, the farm was quite a bit bigger, but progressively to sort of make ends meet, they've been selling bits and pieces off. And so that's left them with how we sit today. Oh, bloody hell, that button didn't work again. That should be better. I am now showing you a map. Thank you. Sorry, my error. So it should be in front of you now, hopefully. And the cursor should be working. I must do something about fixing that. Excellent. So that's where we are on the screen. We own these fields. As I was trying to say, the family used to own more land, but they've been struggling. So with that sort of background in mind, last week we started to harvest the only field that had a crop on it, which was over here, and so we're at the same. We've rolled forward into September, and I've picked up quite a few more bits of equipment to sort of fill out the scenario for how this family would be functioning. I've gone for it's a pretty Massey centric farm. Managed to pick up a jock baler. I've got a McHale baler. I've got a bit of wear on them, so I've tried to put wear on the equipment where I can, rung up some hours on it, so that it's kind of all in keeping with where we are. Now you might recall from this field that it was all ploughed with no crop in it last week, and lo and behold, this week we seem to have had a crop in it and it's being reploughed. So I took an update of the map, and as these things happen when you start a new save game, sometimes you don't end up in exactly the same state. So I'm doing my best to return it to the state it was in. The reason I didn't just use my magic tools in the background was every time I tried to change the state of this field, the game crashed. So I figured I was having no other issues with the game or the map. So I figured it wasn't worth doing that. We'll just put our plows on here. Of course, I lost the cultivating contract that we were doing. So I've just bought those tractors across here, bought a couple of older, simpler, cheaper plows, which I figure the farm would need anyway. Why do we look like we've lost a... Oh no, he's coming over the rise up there, and just set them to ploughing the field. So they'll be finished shortly. And then we can give some thought to what we want to put in this field. I've wound the dollars down to around about $50,000. And we are now sitting on a $950,000 loan. So again, it tried to sort of make it in keeping with the scenario that we're in. So that's going to generate a fair bit of interest for us. I'm running the bank management mod, if you're wondering, which is, try that one. Whoops, not that key. Let's try that key. No. I don't know why it's not working, but anyway, and they're paying 8% interest, I think. Let's just have a look here. Why did I not get bank management? Might as well look while I'm here. Why it didn't pop up when I hit the keys. Platinum expansion. Just close your eyes if the scrolling is annoying. There it is. Left shift N. That's what I thought. Oh, and magically it works this time. So we have the way the game looks at it, $1.9 million worth of capital, which is the land that we own. We've set the loan up at $950,000. And the interest rate is 8%. The upshot of all of that is that the mod would allow us to borrow more money, but I don't think that's realistic in our scenario. And it costs us about $7,000 a month for interest. So that's where we're sitting. You can see Cranky pointed me at a Defender mod, so I've got a vehicle which I can drive on the region specific side of the road. And one of the things I liked about it was it actually shows the wear and tear, so it kind of looks like I would imagine this vehicle would. The only downside, if I'd been able to, I would have got the troop carrier version, because that would have fitted in with this family. It's quite conceivable they'd just have this vehicle and the 5 kids would be on the bench seats in the back. Yes and no, Jason. It won't be straightforward. But the way I kind of figured it, if we have a look at the map over here, the first thing is it's a 4x map. We've got a field over here that we haven't started to do anything with. It's got grass in it, and I'll go up to the main shed now. We've got an area here that we can turn into grass. So, and if you think about sort of field 68, let's see here, go to there, and we zoom in a little bit. Whilst I haven't measured the fields yet, hopefully it'll, there we go. So field 68's 14 hectares, so 60 odd acres. So if we can get a crop in it, we'll get a reasonable return off it. We'll just have to be careful with how we go about things, I think. At least that's my logic. Now, you know, I mean, we can rescue them if we get into diabolical trouble, but I'm reasonably confident if you look at the contract situation, because contracts is another way to perform. So I grabbed 2 contracts just in case they went and disappeared on me. And whilst these are pretty big fields, so there you go, 37 acres and 24 acres. So they're moderate sized fields. They're going to pay quite well. And so part of the rationale here is, you know, whilst we've got smaller equipment, we do have a few boys that are, and a girl that's capable of driving tractors. So the idea of being able to work a few contracts and generate some cash is not ridiculous. We'll come back here and get the harvester going in a minute. So we are going to get a little bit of crop off there. I'll just take you up and show you sort of how I've had to go. The idea that came out of chat last time was maybe a combination of contracting and a grass silage sort of sale business. So this land up here that they own beside the church, I've put a couple of tired looking silage clamps on it and a couple of older style buildings, and as you can see I've collected an assortment of equipment in varying states of repair and wear and tear that hopefully will give us a means to not get completely bent out of shape, but also start out and be able to take what the map throws at us in terms of direction. So as soon as we've finished with the plough, the bigger of the 2 tractors on the plough on field 68 will come and the grass on here and see if it yields the first load of crop, and if so we'll whack it in the silage, the clamp, and get that going, and then we'll mark it out, plough it and seed it properly. So plenty of work to be going on with is the idea. And being a 4X map, there's plenty of spots to explore and lots of stuff to do. Need to get one of the young fellas over here with the hand mower and do the church a favour. But in terms of intro, that's the start we've got. So if you've got ideas or suggestions that sort of build on those themes, they would be much appreciated. I'm thinking at this stage that because we don't have a silo for this crop and we don't want to be selling it straight away. We haven't got a tremendous yield, but we're current price is down somewhere, where are we? Just under 900. Financially, we're in a position where we'd want to be hanging on and getting a bit further up the curve. So aiming for sort of December, January, just see how we go. So what we might do, the other thing, just while it's sitting there, so the baler I grabbed from Mark Thor, and it takes a net wrap. So from what I can understand, you have to load the netting in and it will run out after a bunch of bales. So we'll be able to bale up the straw here and stick it away and hang on to it until we're ready to sell that too. So I haven't used the baler at all yet. This is, in fact, I didn't even adjust the number of hours on it. If we put it down and see how it goes, it should tootle along behind this little Massey, okay. There we go. The rollers don't move in the animation, but it feels like it's location relevant or appropriate. So I thought it was nice to have a different bit of green equipment for a change. And we're making 150 centimetre bales, which we probably want to it's got a very weird alarm on it. It increases in intensity as you get closer to full. I can see that being quite annoying. And there's our bale. Cool. And that used 1% of our wrap, so that's all good to know. So we'll leave that there. I could put that on a worker for the minute, but let's see if we can get the crop off the field first. Welcome along, whoever's just joined us from the Oaks. Great to have you in. So the harvester's looking a bit more like it's been in the family for a while. 75 hours up on it, so, and it's grubby being halfway through the field, of course. We'll get the rest of these oats off while the boys are over finishing ploughing that other field, and then we might tackle some of the other chores, dispatch a couple to work on the contracts, and potentially get the grass cut next door. I would like to give the mod a go that allows you to sort of set up a family operation and name the workers and tailor it, but I just haven't had time to get that out and sorted. So that can be next week's project. As you can see, the yield is not tremendous on this field, so that I felt was sort of in keeping. You know, they definitely probably didn't have enough match flow to fully fertilise it, and they did manage to deal with the weeds by the looks. So there's lots of scope to, even on the land we've got, work that a little bit better. Nobody's suggesting Harold was necessarily the world's greatest farmer, and you know, probably not been easy keeping everything going all these years. Watching the world get more difficult around you, I can't imagine that being much fun sometimes. I only had 2 kids, and they were a sufficient drain on the finances on occasions. Well, welcome along, whoever's joined us. Farmer Ed, great to see you. Thanks for dropping in. You must be just about to head out to teach some poor unfortunates the road rules. I was able to successfully add your course. So for those that don't know, Farmer Ed is, well, the Discord channel's the Autodrive creators, and he has done a fabulous Autodrive course for this map, which I have installed. Aha. Now, of course, because I've picked a more obscure starting location for the family house, and we've set up in that field next door, whilst the Autodrive course goes right past, there were no stops available at the right spot, but I was able to ferry the equipment over, so I've added a couple of loops to the course and got it sorted out, so I'm pretty confident we can send vehicles to fields. And Ed, you'll be very pleased to know I actually haven't found any issues in the first couple of hours of using it, so that's always a good thing, particularly when you've had to work so hard to get a course out so quickly for a 4X map. Unfortunately, I can't put your Discord address up in the chat, and I don't believe it's kind of the wrong time of day for the only people that I have nominated as moderators, so unfortunately we can't do that, but I will add it to, I just suddenly realized I didn't even put it in the link for the stream, so I'll fix that afterwards. Just out of curiosity, Ed, is Trainsman part of your crew, or is that a competitive auto-drive developer? Looking at this, I don't think we'll be taking on a lot of harvest contracts. They would be a tremendous amount of work until we get the gear level up a bit. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's just Trainsman's been advertising heavily in FSG and Argsy's chat, and I was just wondering when someone was going to tell him to pull his head in and move his adverts to the self-promotion channels, given all the work you and Jan do. Trainsman, I think, is his handle on. You'll see him if you go to either FSG or Argsy's lobby the last 24 hours or so. Right, 51%. So we'll knock this one over pretty quick. We might just get you on a work. I'm tootling up and down there. We might be able to. I think I said before, the plan is to drop this on the floor. Whilst I have put 50 hours of wear and tear on here, obviously the wear map is not as cleverly done as it is on a couple of the other vehicles, which I was looking for something to be a little bit more run down and disheveled, not looking like we're tooling around in a brand new truck. If that's the case, that's okay. I just didn't recognize it, and I wasn't going to go clicking on a link for someone I didn't recognize in chat, so that I just thought, well, seeing as you popped in, I would ask. So what I'm thinking, and if someone knows better, you can correct me, but given that I've done the best I could to make this a concrete floor, I can't get rid of any of the more of the grass, but given it's a brick building, I'm thinking we can just tip the oats on the floor here, and this will do for our crop, and we'll just try and keep it in the center and hope that it doesn't spill out through the walls. Yep. Try and keep the tipper between the beams, it'd be a good idea. There we go. So while we're down here, let's just go and peek up at our boys doing the plumbing. Now the ploughing, it looks like we have a completion. So let's stop you. This might even be Penny driving today. I'm tipping you finish that lot there. So we'll let the other one finish the other bit, because that's in good shape. And then we need to start thinking about what crop we want to put in here. If we have a look at the window, particularly while we've got some cash in the bank and can afford to buy some seed. If we have a look at the planting windows, no worries, Ed. Appreciate you dropping in, and thank you very much for access to your auto drive course. Much appreciated. Have a good lesson. So we've got a couple of months to decide, and I think we're very much into one of the one of the grain crops at this stage. I'm not sure. I think we need to get a little bit more cash under our belt before we get too fancy. So one of the grains will be the go. Now let's just take this back to the yard. So hold you up. Turn you the other way. Is it through the gate while it's turned? There we go. Gotta be quick. Now I'm pretty sure that last time we left the mowers round at the other. So can I put I think I can put a front mower on here. I can certainly put butterflies on the back, which is what we've got. But our other field is just around the corner here. And the idea is that this will be a good, for the moment, grass field for us. It's only just come up, so it's not ready to cut. Hopefully we will get a cut off it before Christmas. And you can see it's quite a sizable field, so if we prepare it well, we should get plenty of grass off here. Let's take you back. Go and pick up the front mower if we can. Now, most of the hedges on this map don't have collisions, which makes the fields a lot more forgiving. But there are a few that do, so you can, depending on what your preference is, I think it really helps with how the map looks without making it impossible to work with some of the more intricate pieces of equipment. Now let's just go and empty the harvester, and then we'll come back and see how we go cutting this meadow grass. Whoops, get round. You're almost done. We need to get you out of here. So one of the things that Farm Sim Brisco has done to the map is fixed a couple of things that people have reported over the last week or so, so that the newest update is the third release of the map, which I downloaded earlier in the day, my time, and it downloaded no problems. He has added some textures, so if we go into, I want to say some textures, he's given us a heap of textures. So, as is always the case when you do these things, the specific one I wanted for the floor of that shed that we just dumped the grain on isn't there, but there's a lot more choices, which makes it a lot more fun to try and sort the map out and tailor it to your view. Pleasant View Farms, the maker of Gleaner's Analysis. Welcome along. Great to see you. I see from my feed that you streamed this morning. I hope that went very well. Let's turn that off. We are back on the Oaks again, having a bit of fun with our family, the Putneys, who are struggling a bit, but I'm sure over the next few weeks we'll help them sort it out. They've got some land still so that they own, even though they're sitting on a big mortgage, and they've got boys and a girl, so they've got kids which provide horsepower. They're all finished school, so they can all drive the vehicles, so we should be able to dig them out of the hole that they've spent a decade or two getting into. Doesn't fill you with joy when the yield map is completely in the red. But I'm sure we'll fix that for next time. Welcome along, whoever else has joined in. Lurking is fine. If you've got any questions, we're on the Oaks. It's the scenario we're building around the Putney family, Harold and Ma and their 5 kids. Right, so let's run over here. We should be able to squeeze through the hedge. Oh, there's a lane up there. Didn't know that. About that. Now I'm thinking we can cut this grass. Let's find out. If not, we'll just have to plough it up and replant it, but okay, so Control V will put the mowers down. Control B, turn them on. Front mower hasn't unfolded. X. It's better. That's what I suspected might be the case, so it's what I would call decorative grass, so there is absolutely no point in cutting this lot because it's not going to yield anything we can use, so that's fine. It's not a marked field on the PDA, but we're going to turn it into one. Let's get you folded up. You can pop the mowers back in the shed. There we go. Welcome along, whoever's just joined us. Great to have you here. Hope you're enjoying your start to the week, wherever on the planet you happen to be. We're streaming from Melbourne, Australia, but we've got people all over the place. US, Couple in Oz, different cities, inland Australia, UK in and out. Not sure if we've got any Canadians in tonight. Sometimes we get them. So what I might do first is almost, oh, we might be all Massey actually. Yes, that's a good question. I believe we are all Massey. I was trying to, without anything in the way of UK farming skill, oops, let's go to the right screen. I was trying to be a little bit sympathetic to the location. So yes, we have a bunch of various flavours of older Masseys and a larger one, and then a collection of equipment, some of which is Massey and others are just different bits that sort of fit the idea. But it seemed to fit pretty well. Now what we want to do here is turn on course play for a sec and fill that temporary course. And let's record. And the main reason I'm recording here, normally I draw it on the mini map, but I'm not sure how accurate, being 4x and a lot of work gone into the map itself. I don't know how well it will represent a non-standard field. So rather than just get caught out in it being fiddly, we'll record it this way, and it's a pretty easy area, so it's not going to take long. And if we don't like the result we get, we can always move it and adjust it later on. Our principal purpose here is just so that we can cut out a field. Yes, I do. So let's get out of the cab. So CP1, we want to rename it to Church Meadow, I reckon. Unless somebody's got a better name. It wouldn't be hard to come up with a better name, but it feels somehow appropriate given where the meadow that's right next to the church. And I don't think we'll do anything else with definition. Oh, but that picture was a good example. So if I'd gone to draw it on here, I would have been more likely to follow the green outline there. And as you can see, it's just not quite in the right spot on the PDA. So it's only a little bit out, but that'll work fine. So now let's head over here. If there's something particular, I know it's a new map, anyone wants to see, please feel free to sing out, ask questions, make comments, tell me how wrong I'm doing something. Quite relaxed about all of those options. Now, let's come into our field. Let's Create fields is what? Control Y, I think. Yes, it is. So when we create a job in this field, we want to ideally finish here. Of course, generator 3.2 meters sounds too wide. Yeah, we'll check that in a minute. I don't think it's that wide. 6 headlands is probably too many. Let's come down to 5 in here. We will start on the headlands, sharp corners. And let's see what that looks like. Okay. That'll do. So that should get us a field shortly. See how you go. And while you're setting up, let's go and have a look. The pos 5 is, whoops, we don't want to sell you. It's only 2.5 meters. That's what I thought. So, what are you doing now? Oh. Let's try going to the first waypoint. And bring you back to 2.5. Auto offset. Now you're cooking. Come on, you can find it. Come on, you're almost there. That's it. You've got it. I think I can. Okay, now we're making a field. Let's see how you go. Now, let's come through. You finished there. Excellent. I'll go and get you. Only got a little bit further to go on this field. Now we can get one of the boys going on here. You're gonna give me what? Where are you going? Let's try it the other way. Let's come up here. Let's line you up a little bit better. Get you going across there at 90 degrees. Jason McKinley, welcome along. How are you this fine evening in Brisbane? There's a few people popping around. Some, I'm guessing, at work in various parts of the globe. Others doing all sorts of interesting things of their own. Now we'll go and get the truck. one more loading. So for those that we've had a few people pop in, so I've developed the scenario a little bit since our tour last week. So we're with the Putney family, Harold and Ma, their 5 kids, John, Paul, George, Ringo and Penny. Yes, Ma is a somewhat fanatical Beatles fan, much to the kids' dismay. George and Paul are twins, but it does give us 5 teenagers to help with the business. The family's a bit down on their luck. I argue with the pellet mechanics frequently. I don't know what it is. I'm convinced that the worst pellet forks in the game are actually the base game ones. I have more trouble with those Orbit pellet forks than I do with the CSZ ones, but I don't always have mod forks loaded, so I understand exactly. But what I was going to do, I've got an opportunity to unload the harvester now, so we'll just run around and do that. I've got to actually think about what I'm doing. It's only a short little tootle across there. There we go. Come on. You're going to stop and let me go. There we go. I found most of the forks will do 2 at a time. The over pellet strap thing that I don't know if I've got it on here. What you're talking about is part of the CSZ pack, and it is, if I've got it on here. Have I got the CSZ pack on here? I may not. No, I do not. Sorry, I can't actually. I'll do it tomorrow morning on because I got the CSZ on Newlands. But yes, I'm pretty sure I don't have anything. Yeah, there are certain situations where the over pellet strap one works really well. And I also discovered that something that Mr. Sealy P does a lot, you can use, if they'll go out wide enough, you can pick up 2 pallets side by side and sometimes pick up 4 using these Magsies, which are a bit more reliable than the All Buts. But I've put in a couple of extra little bits and pieces just to see how we go. I think I did buy the All But actually for the front loader. Let's have a look here. Which will no doubt do my head in, but I'm not expecting we'll do a lot of pallet work in the immediate future. Yes. Yeah, I can imagine, Jason. It is a big deal. So now where are we? Oh, what I was going to do for those that have joined that didn't get the introduction at the start. So here this is the map of Oaks. If you're not familiar with it, it's a 4x map. It's quite sizable. The fields are a fair bit of variety in size, and we've set ourselves up, or rather the Putneys have been living in this area for generations, but the holdings that they've got now are down to, are down to just these fields which surround the house and the original yard. Exactly. Yes. Sometimes I definitely feel like stabbing them. So these are the fields we've got. Now that's not an awful position to be in because the fields themselves are not tiny. That field there, 14 hectares. This one, 4. This one, which is a grass field, is 5. So, and we're just making a grass field in here, which looks like it's going to be counted as part of field 76, which is kind of interesting. And I haven't even looked at 62 yet. That's about 1.5. So we've got a little bit of land. We've got a $950,000 mortgage, which will be a bit taxing, and we're paying 8% on it. So interest will be a bit constraining. We don't need to empty that again. It can wait. I'm just turning the field over the road because I started a new game save with the patches that Farmer Brisco had done. I didn't get fields back in exactly the same state, and field 68 seemed to get a little bit agitated when I tried to just turn it into a ploughed state, so I decided just to plough it and be done with it. Whereas this field I could switch it back to oats quite easily. So we've got equipment, we've got older equipment, and we're setting up per one of the ideas that came out of last week's stream. I probably could have driven the vehicle back down here, but our grass fermenting, baling sort of business. So into this field, I dropped some tired looking bunker silos so that we can ferment. We're cutting a field out of the meadow. We've got a couple of sheds, and you know, our equipment's kind of put away to an extent. We've got an assortment of vehicles in different states of wear and repair. So basically, the state we're in. Now I'm thinking about, we have got 2 contracts. Oh, we're able to do contracts. But one constraint because of our situation is the sort of the family's known in the area. But because of the financial situation, people will give us work, but they won't lend us equipment. So none of the contracts offer any equipment. So we can only do contracts when we've got the gear necessary to get the job done. And I sort of thought that fitted into the scenario pretty well. So at the moment we've got 2 contracts ready to progress. So we'll take care of those shortly. We're just getting a couple of our own jobs underway. But that's the summary and the state of play. As I said, if anybody's got any questions or suggestions, just see where our last plough tractor is up to. That's our baler. There we go. 2 more stripes. And to try and make it a bit more realistic, the equipment's not necessarily well matched, so it's not like we can, you know, go and put 4 tractors that are all the same, pulling the same gear on a single contract. We've got to think about how we go about those. So looking to make that a little bit of fun. And with a 7-person family, we've got an opportunity to do a few things at once if we've got the gear to manage it. So I think it'll be a good way to have a bit of fun on this map. At least that's the plan. And like always in the streams, feel free to influence in the direction you want to go. One of the things that's unique about this area is the British sugar factory down here at the bottom of the map. And you'll see there's already, well, there's a couple of sizable sugar beet fields. So it would make sense to me at some point that we'd be looking to put sugar beet in. I just figured we're not quite ready to handle that at the moment. So we might need to save to get into that. And you never know, something might come up along the way in sales. We're also running Farmer Ed's autodrive course on here from the autodrive creators, and I was remiss in not putting the link in the description for the stream, but I will fix that afterwards. So that's probably about it. You're just about finished off there. Might do a couple of bales. Seeing we've got a little bit of straw to get off this field. And money's important to us. Oops. So this is Mark Thor's McHale baler. And we're doing 150s. So it toodles along quite nicely. Again, I thought it was sympathetic to the area to an extent, so that's kind of what I'm going for. Take the opportunity, well, let's go up this row, to learn a little about British farming along the way. And before somebody says, well, you should do Fords and counties, I didn't want to too closely follow the series that Virtual Farmer's been doing on Addingham Park. So that's why I chose Massey's. And there are very musical tones on this McHale baler. I have turned the sound effects down a little bit, but it's like there's something behind is going to explode. We don't have a silo at the moment, so we're just dropping crop on the floor in one of our sheds at the main farm. Okay, I said a bunch of things, Jason. Which bit did you think was brilliant? Thank you, but obviously one was the tone on the baler. It certainly makes you want to run away from it. Oh, there it goes again. At least at the moment I notice it. Ah, yes, musical. Welcome along, whoever's joining. Glad to have you here. We're on the Oaks with Harold and Ma Putney. Oops, back up. It's interesting, the inside of the baler's animated, but the outside is not. Yeah, that's probably true. He would not hear much. Right, sure. It's a cute little baler. I quite like it. I don't know what it's. Let's jump in cab. What does that do to the tone? We'll get up. It'll start beeping shortly. The harvester thinks it is complete. And it looks like it may be. That's good. One job done, and we have some crop to sell. It's just a weird combination of tones. Kind of like a kid practicing their scales. And for the eagle-eyed amongst you, we'd have netting on this baler. So that's what this pallet is on the ground up here. And you can see the little indicator down above the straw gauge, which is measuring out netting as we use it, although it doesn't use it particularly quickly, which is interesting. I would have expected it to be using about 5 meters per bale myself, but that's just the math talking. It's gonna blow! Come on, you got it. Oh no, used a lot more than 5 meters. There you go. That's good. We might leave this here for now. Let's get this, pick up the last little skerricks that I missed. And empty it out into the truck, and we can put you back in the shed for now, I think. The churches, there's a couple of churches on the map, and they've all got little graveyards around them, which appear to repeatedly celebrate the death of English football. I don't know, can't remember if it's this one or the other one. Let's have a look. Yeah, there you go. Winston Churchill died multiple times in this graveyard. What's this one? England as World Cup champion. That's as much as you get. So nothing like a little bit of levity. Lighten the mood. Let's get you out of the way. I don't know how heavy you are. Get you out. Which way round's that? Well, that's emptying. Grab our trusty defender. I've only driven a few defenders in my life, but I gotta say, none of them, and one that looked remarkably similar to this one actually, although it was a troop carrier, but none of them have been as punchy under the throttle as this guy. Okay. Fold you up, turn you off, lift you up. And we get you over on there. Come on, line up. Tip, tip, tip. Why are you not raised? I'm sure I put you up. Thank you. That'll make it work much better, won't it? Yeah. To get you to follow. Why didn't that work? Better. So I mentioned autodrive before. So Farmer Ed and his assist, well, Yoss really, have done a course, and it covers, you can see the little tags all over the map. So pretty well covered up there. And then I've just added a couple of little extra waypoints in the field that we've got up here. Because the Putneys are working a different area, and ultimately we'll want to be dropping silage and flattening it in those bunkers with a bit of assistance. It just occurred to me I put a trough in the other yard, but I don't have one here, so let's put a tools, no containers, that's what I want. Tap on the side. So that it makes sense when we put, where's Yoss's buckets? There they are. Because then it strikes me, given we're financially a bit more challenged, we might not have a pressure washer in this yard at this stage, so we could enlist one or more of the family members to be washing the harvester. Very good. Yes, we'd better fix that. There's nothing like putting away a clean harvester for the day. No worries, Jason. I'm glad you were able to drop in. Thanks for stopping by. You know where to find us. We'll be back on again in 12 hours time on Newlands, and the plan is for this one it'll be a weekly event on this time slot, so we'll see where it heads. Yeah, we don't use that door at the end. I reckon we'll just park him hard up like so. That'll do fine. We'll sort the header out afterwards. Now, how's our grass field coming along? Pretty good. What in the shop, we're not going to be able to do much with precision farming until we get the ability to get our fields sampled, and I reckon that's a bit beyond us cost-wise at the present time. So we're going over here. This tractor should be pretty much done, which it is. Didn't tell me it had finished because I stole the last bit of its course with the other tractor. So we can stop you. Getting a bit low on fuel, so let's get you back to the yard and top you up. And then what we might do, so the bigger of the two contracts that we have at the moment is a ploughing contract, so we might go and get this guy started on that. That'll be a good opportunity to drive around the map. Just got to judge the gate. Put some fuel in, and it's all good. No worries, Jason. Have a good one. Now, let's see. Which field are we heading to? We are ploughing field 2, which is where? Actually, what we could do is turn the plough, fold the plough, go to field 2. So this is the auto drive course. Field 2 north we can start in. That'll do us fine. Let's see if you can. Which way around are you going to go? Put a loop in this field, so expected it to do a turn. We'll find out if I gave it enough room getting out of the gate. So far we're in the course I built, not the course the guys built. Why has it got that turned? It should be folded. Never mind. %, quarter speed, that'll be fine. Top speeds shouldn't get it into too much trouble. So now we can sit back and let it enjoy the drive. Our little excursion through the English countryside. I still have traffic turned on, so when we get to a wider road, the map maker has only put traffic on the more significant roads, so that helps. As you can see, some of these lanes are pretty squeezy and overgrown, which I think is terrific, adds to the immersion. One of the things you'll see is we don't have any animal pens showing, so that was an issue in the version of the map we had last week, but that all of that's been sorted out. And when I started the new save in farm manager mode today, I didn't have any equipment or any expected holdings in anything, which was good. So the route we're taking is a little bit circuitous because some of the auto drive routes, because of the width of these lanes, have to be one way, but we're coming round to field 2, which is here, and the north entrance to it, I suspect, is probably up on this side. We'll see. Couple of big sunflower crops floating around the place. So this is one of the roads that I've noticed traffic on before. That was just Tito saying hello. There we go. Van coming. It's a big field on our left there. I really like the undulations. Little village here. So there you go. We must be getting pretty close. We are. Just a matter of where's the entrance to the field. Maybe it's on the other side. Because it's this field here on our right. See how we go with the roundabout. Little citrons everywhere. No, it wanted to go all the way past and back. So I must have missed the gate, or I would have stopped it. Was at the top of the field. There it is. Let's just stop you here. Drive around the tree. We can whack you on course play for the minute. And the field is this one. Ideally, we'd like to finish here somewhere. Clockwise. That looks a little bit better. Let's do 8 headlands with this width. 8 headlands. 8 twos are 16. Yeah, that'll be enough. Start work in the center. Actually, you're starting first. You can start on the headlands. One tool, generate the course. There's lots of up and downs in that field. And you're going to start in the middle of the bottom. We might take you over there. First waypoint. Was over here somewhere, I'm hoping. Here it is. We can see our blue waypoints. Beautiful. Perfect. So, you will make an effort on that one. We can go back. We could do some more baling. Where are we up to? Let's get the crop, the grain tipped in our shed. and then we'll yeah, I'm just thinking here. Be a good idea. Turn from this door this time. We don't drive on the crop. Oh, can I get in through that door? Maybe. Yeah, let's just see. You moved sideways. Why did you move sideways? Just trying to keep it in the center of the floor so it doesn't leak out through the side of the building or through the doorway. How much we got? 1,200 litres. Right. That will do us. Not perfect, but we keep the doors shut. That'll do the job until it comes time to sell it. I'll take you back up to the other yard. That's our little workshop trigger in there. It's all quite nicely set up. That's our other field. Now, does that need to be harvested is the question. Our sorghum is ready to harvest. Okay. When's that got to be done? I didn't notice because when we had last week, before I changed or updated the map, that didn't have a crop in it. So we inherited a little bit of bonus sorghum there. And the harvest window for sorghum closes. So we need to harvest that. So much for putting the harvester away. Let's leave you out. Just as well we caught that. Otherwise we would have left money on the table for sure. We rolled over at the end of the month. We don't have any seed. Might just take the header down, I think. Got enough fuel. I think we can get out the gate. We'll find out in a minute. If we can't get out the gate, that will put paid to that plough. Oh, that's not gonna go through there, is it? Or is it? Oh, that's tight. It worked. Don't have to be good to be lucky. So this field's much smaller than the oat field, so it should be a lot quicker to get the crop off. But now we're going to need somewhere to put it. Have we got another end of a shed there that we could use, I guess? Or do we just keep it in the trailer and hope we sell it before we need the trailer? That's also an option. Okay, so the yield on this field's a little bit better than the other one, which is nice. And that ploughing contract that we've got the smaller plough on is going to take quite a while. 2% done. So that'll keep us busy. So have any of you had a look at this map yourselves? If so, what do you think? I'm really enjoying it. It's fun. Stimulating the imagination in different ways. Scenery's good. Good to excellent. It's a bit hard to see where we're going down there. Need the cherry picker and prune this edge of the field. Either that or not plant the crop so closely. Despite all the wear, the wear map on that TX32 doesn't scratch it up much, so looks a little bit too brand new, but it's just how it is. One more headland down the side here. 2 or 3 across the end so that we can run backwards and forwards, I think, up that long side. Bit of a stretch. Ended up taking a couple of hours longer than I expected this afternoon to get all the things in place on the map so that I was ready for the stream. So hope people are enjoying the direction that we're taking. Got anything to add or something that you want to see, something you think should be a focus for this series of streams, then sing out. I'll always have my eyes peeled for mods and ideas that might be interesting and might fit in. Just up a little way there so that it's a bit easier to cut and come back. Round you go, round you go, there you go. That's the angle. Which way is 90? That way. Square. Let's see if we can get that bit we missed on the end. Whoops. Sorry about the trees in the face, folks. Rightio. Wonder how the tennis is going. I know that I don't usually get much in the way of tennis fans in here, but an Aussie, Alex Dimmore, is playing Djokovic at the moment, place in the quarterfinals, so of the Australian Open, so will no doubt be attracting a fair old viewing audience. Let's go up to the top here, and we will empty whenever we get to be full. We might make it just to the top. It's not that the tennis is something I would necessarily sit and watch, it's just I'm curious about score. given that they've never played before. Whoops. Put that out. Now, where did I put that truck? There it is. Rightio. Empty that lot out of there. What's that? This is going to be about a third of a truckload, maybe a fraction more. And yeah, so we're going to have more than a truckload. We might need the other trailer. Pretty close, scarce, third of a truckload. Let's get you going. Let's take the truck and go and get the trailer, and that way we can get all of the crop off, and then we'll worry about what we're going to do with it afterwards. I mean, ultimately we'll sell it as soon as we can get a good price for it. We're not planning to start a museum collection of sorghum grains. What we do while we're up here picking up the trailer, actually, can this, that's a good question, can this tow that trailer? I can't remember. I think it's got a ball hitch on it. It does. That's just annoying. Where is the tractor? Right over there. I think we just get the couple of little patches that just got missed in the corners, because then this field is now ready to seed. We can put one of the little tractors on the smallest seeder we've got. And get that done. Although we're going to struggle to get a meaningful grass crop off here before the end of the year, so maybe we don't worry about that. Let's get rid of you. There we go. But if we get a grass crop into it, then at least we have an option, I guess, is the thought process. But we don't have any seed. I'm thinking Hold you up. And we send you around to field 2. Wrong instructions. Field 2 north was where we sent the other one. That seemed to work all right, so that's happy to leave that folded up, so that's better. Now, if I take you off the header trailer, just out of curiosity, when I open the door, I can't unfold you. Okay, so there's no storage in the back of that. You can follow the truck back down in a minute. Don't get hooked on the post getting out. And what we might do is send one of the boys on this tractor up to the shop to get some seed. This one needs a little bit of maintenance, but so be it. Maybe we've got enough cash to do that while he's there. So let's see. You need to go to the dealership. I don't want you to go to the repair station. Okay, so your settings are wrong. Automatic refueling, no. Automatic repairing, no. Apply. Drive to repair station, stop you. Now go to the dealership. Okay. Otherwise it would have gone and found its nearest repair station, which is not what I wanted to happen. Okay, so you're going fine on your headlands. You're going fine on there, and we do the reverse of what we did before. Follow the aggro truck. You've now got one of the sons inside. Right, so we can head down. And there we go. He's backing through the gate there. Trailer's a little bit heavy for the Defender, but it'll do the job for moving it around. Let's head down and we can fill up again when we get to this end. It's all happening today. With any luck, we'll get back with the seed before the end of the stream. We can get that seeding underway. There's been a bunch of people through tonight, so that's been fabulous. Glad to see everybody here. Popping in to say hello. Much appreciated. So this unload will finish will give the truck enough. Whoops. I'll stay off the edge there. We should have enough hopper capacity in the harvester to finish. I reckon. Let's pop back over to the yard. You're still on, oh, you're almost at field 2. You probably don't. 240S. I don't know the model numbers well enough. 240S has probably not got enough ergs. 47 horsepower, and our smallest. Whoops. Seed. Oh, our little seeder needs 60, so probably not. Let's. You're on your way to the shop. We're still doing the headlands. So, and that's the one I want. Now what we want to do how do we want to do this? If I do you a course, let's see here. Have to be a little bit creative here because the width are different. But we're only ploughing, so as long as we work the field, we'll be fine. So if we create a job, the field position is here. The course generator, that's better work with. Until now, if you... We said 5 headlands, but if you start in the center, and generate the course, and then instead of sending you to the start, which way are they running? Show me all the lines. They're running that way across the field. So if we go about halfway down, halfway is going to be about, yeah. Pick one, doesn't really matter. And instead of starting you at first waypoint, we're going to start you at nearest waypoint and send you on your way. You back into the blue. So that What I was kind of going for was to have about 2/3 of the field and 1/3 of the field. So we'll see how that plays out, how good my guess was. So you're just my yard tractor and moving bales and the like. We could run you actually on the seeder, which is probably more important than running you on the baler at the minute, but we'll do that while we're filling in some time. Put the pickup down. You're not switched on. That's better. But that might be, give or take, where we leave things tonight, unless anybody's got questions or comments that they want to pass on before we go. I think we've gotten ourselves into it. We've gotten to know the Putneys a little bit, and I'll do some more work on them and their backstory during the week. But Harold and Ma and the 5 boys, we're getting some work done for them, so the contracts are underway, and we haven't eaten too much through the funds we had on hand. We've got to buy some seed in a minute, but apart from that, we're I think we're in fair shape. So I might leave it there. Thank you all very much for watching. It's great to have you in and enjoying the oaks, and if you've got any feedback, feel free to leave it in the comments. We'll be back at exactly the same time slot next week, and I'll be streaming again in about 10.5 hours time on Newlands. So until then, stay safe. See ya. Thanks for watching.